museum collection is ours. But our story, this story with this man is, it's part detective story, it's part treasure hunt, it's about, priceless artefacts that, appear to have disappeared from one of the most famous museums in the world, and a museum that was warned by this man, Ittai Gradel, 2 years before, that he was worried items were being stolen.
What did they say when you initially made that call and tried to whistleblow on what was happening?
Well, initially the British Museum didn't say anything. I waited for months and I wrote back to get an answer several times. But it took, I think, 5 months before they finally replied that everything was fine, nothing was missing.
They said they'd had an investigation.
They'd investigated.
Effectively nothing to see here, right?
Yes, yes.
So what was it? Why did you become suspicious? What triggered the alarm bells?
Because among the many items I saw and I bought, also there were a few that I spotted that I recognised from the old British Museum 1920s museum catalogue.
What kind of things?
Small little jewels, carved gemstones.
This is a hobby for you?
No, I'm a dealer, actually, so I make my living from it.
I'm so impressed by your memory and the detail.
But I'm also a collector, so many of these things, thank God, I didn't sell on, but I kept them, which meant that it was easier to actually give them back to the British Museum.
And how certain were you? I mean, you get in touch with them, they say, no, it's all fine, nothing's gone... But how certain were you? No, these are from the British Museum.
I was absolutely certain. 100%. The evidence I sent them was incontrovertible. There was absolutely no mistaking it. The only alternative explanation would have been that I had actually falsified the documents I sent them, photoshopped them or something, because I was some attention-seeking nutter or something.
And I have to say, when the story broke last August, it was obviously a huge story, made headlines around the world. And I really remember the first time I spoke to Ittai Gradel, because I'd just done a story for News at 10, I was sitting in the edit suite, I spoke to him, and he said, he'd started telling me, he'd warned the museum, and I said, I basically got hold of emails and his screenshots and all the things that he had sent to the museum, and my jaw did hit the floor. I thought, my goodness, this is an incredible scoop, because, we'd heard this story, but we hadn't heard that 2 years before they'd been warned and had rebuffed him, and they've obviously since apologised for that and apologised to Ittai.
So what are the museums saying now?
Well, the museum have spoken to us in our series. They have claimed, they believe that they know who's done it, and this is somebody that Ittai also named in his emails to them. So it's a senior curator called Dr. Peter Higgs. He denies any wrongdoing. The police are investigating, and there's been no arrests or charges. But the museum claim in documents, High Court documents that we've seen, that he was altering records to cover his tracks, and they're saying that he sold to at least, they think, 45 buyers on eBay all around the world. We spoke to the chair of the Trustees, former Chancellor George Osborne. This is what he had to say about when he realised something had gone terribly wrong.
I remember so clearly getting the phone call. I was at home getting ready for Christmas. We were about to have a new baby in the family, and the director calls me and says, things have been stolen from the strong room. And that's when I immediately said, well, hold on, that must be linked to that email that I saw a couple of months ago. The director at the time was a bit sceptical that they were connected, but I was absolutely sure it was too coincidental. And I said we should call the police that day.
And I must say that last year, the British Museum director, Hartwig Fisher, and the deputy director, Jonathan Williams, both left their positions at the British Museum. Jonathan Williams didn't provide a comment for our series, but Hartwig Fisher told us his resignation reflected the responsibility I took as director and on behalf of my colleagues for the flaws in the British Museum's first inquiry. But he told the BBC after an internal report revealed the scale of the thefts in 2022, he immediately informed George Osborne, and we informed the police, who started a criminal investigation.
And very quickly, Katie, you say in your report that they've begun now cataloguing and archiving in a more detailed way. We were quite shocked that these pieces could just disappear, and it took all this time for anyone to notice.
Well, yes, so there's 2.4 million items in the British Museum collection that aren't fully catalogued or even potentially catalogued at all, and they've embarked. One of the things that they've learned is, they need to catalogue this. This was a lot about the fact that there weren't the funds to do it, but they now are spending £10 million over the next 5 years to catalogue these objects, but clearly their sort of their story as the custodian of world heritage is tarnished as a result of all of what's happened.
Thank you.